Alright, response video to a really stupid holiday video. Really is annoying. This gets annoying over and over and over again. Alright, so there was a simple scenario, right? The argument is, let's consider life on Earth a kind of experiment. Alright, and let's say you had the power to conduct the experiment. You had a new planet to play with. What would your ethical rationale be for doing this again? Letting this happen all over again. The whole life game. Not just the human game, not some rescue mission. You know, let's go save the people on the Titanic with a rubber raft that holds 2 people. Oh yeah, that saves the Titanic, doesn't it? Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense, right? I did have an idea for a movie, though. You know, like Melancholia. You know, the idea of planets crashing into each other. It would be interesting if they would have put people on the other planet, and then had this circumstance where both sides had plans to save one of them. One of the planets could be saved, and one of them had to be destroyed. And wouldn't that be an interesting conversation about who goes? And what kind of rational logic would they apply to that decision? So anyway, he applies no logic here whatsoever. He breaks all the rules. So he just says, oh, let's go to Mars and terraform it so we can sit in a little cubicle and play bridge, you know, and drink moonshine we made in the, you know, the poo evaporator. I mean, this is just so fucking stupid. Yeah, that's not the thought experiment. That's not the question. And so he gave nothing as an answer. So he thinks he finds it interesting, and he says, I want to. So that's his justification, which in my opinion makes him nothing better. He has the ethics of a rapist. That's what rapists say. I'm interested and I want. And I don't give a fuck about victim smictums, okay? Whiny bitch. Why is whiny bitch relevant? Okay, happiness good, whiny bitches bad. That's all he's saying. He's saying, I don't give a fuck about any idea of victimhood. Fuck that. I don't know what that I don't even know what that concept is. Paying a price for something? I don't acknowledge that. So he's just a rapist. All right, this question is just like any laboratory today, right? If I had a laboratory and we had little victim mices that we put through horrible tortures to justify some sort of thing. Now, there you could be trying to cure cancer and say that makes sort of sense, or maybe you're just trying to make M&Ms stick even less to your fingers, right? And so you're going to torture, let's say, 1 million rodents, torture them, okay, to make your candy less sticky. Now you're telling me that scientists don't have the brains to say, you know, maybe there's an ethical question here, and maybe we should deal with that, and whether we can justify torturing 1 million sentient rodents so we don't have sticky candy. No. I'm supposed to take you seriously? You didn't give this any serious thought. Alright, you just shot something out of your ass and said, look, I'll smear some shit on the internet. I'll just smear some stupid shit on the internet and call it intellectualism. Sorry, fuckhead. Alright, here's what he said. I guess I'm saying, give me the criteria by which you will judge my reasons. Well, the whole point of my question to you was for you to give reasons, asshole. That's the whole fucking point. I'm saying, give me one good, rational reason why you would subject this experiment to the risks. Why? Why would you create victims to do this? Why do you need this to happen? What need is served besides your want? I find it compellingly interesting. Wouldn't you love somebody to say that when you're being tortured on a gurney and all the guy has to say to justify it is, I find it incredibly interesting? That's all he has to say. I find it fucking interesting. I'm fucking curious how loudly you will scream. That's all I have to say, and you're saying that's good enough. Somebody with a rational brain should say, oh, that's an excellent explanation for why you're torturing somebody. I get that entirely. That is so fucking brilliant. You're curious. Oh, fuck, yes, that makes perfectly good sense. Your fucking curiosity needs to be satisfied. Of course, torture away. Torture, torture. Yes. Rape it in the ass multiple times. Fucking A, you're fucking stupid. Alright, anyway. For making life on Mars. No, I asked you to give me reasons, asshole. I'm not judging your reasons. I'm saying give me a fucking reason. And your reason was, I find it interesting. I want. And it's no better than a fucking rapist. A fucking child molester can come up with that reasoning. What has any chance of counting as good in your book? Well, something like, I am going to create so much spectacular, fantastic, incredible, a kind of joy that nothing has ever experienced before, I think is in the cards somewhere, and it would justify all the harm. Or something like that. Something. But you're not going to give me that. You're basically telling me that if England tomorrow passed a law that said, let's send all the kids to Congo camp, all right, so they can get a bunch of parasitic diseases that will shorten their life by 30 years and make them miserable for the rest of their life, you'd say, yeah, it's a great idea. Let's send all the kids to Congo camp. I find it interesting. Fuck. What has any chance of counting as good in your book? Well, something that explains why the harm is justified. Something that defends imposing the victimhood, creating the rapist. You like to watch the rape game. You like to watch things get raped. All right? And I'm just asking you to justify why your happiness watching rape, okay, is justifiable. Otherwise, you take an unfalsifiable position. I'm not taking an unfalsifiable position. I'm saying, what is your position? Why? What is your rationale? Your rationale is, I find it interesting. I want. That's what you gave me as a rationale. What? I find that lacking. I find that insipid in the face of imposed suffering. I find the words I'm interested and I want totally inadequate. No scientist or critical thinker, there we go, would undertake such a challenge. So he basically just said there that no scientist faced with doing an experiment that, let's say, had absolutely no purpose, okay, it didn't accomplish anything. It respelled the word frog. Okay, that's all the experiment was going to accomplish. It was going to respell the word frog. All right, and it was going to basically cause what's happening on planet Earth right now. Little kids living in cardboard boxes with sewage running out in front of their house. All right, people going through horrific horrors every fucking day. Animals dying miserably and horribly. Yeah, I'll put that clip in here. Yeah, I'll put the little what I found, what I walked across yesterday. Yeah, I'll put that in here. Yeah, I'll do that. There's some disgusting stuff here. Ugh. Wonderful life on Earth and such. Yeah, charming, charming. Not so wonderful. Yuck. Gross. Yeah. So yeah, every single minute, every second, while this biosphere is turning, okay? There's these guts are flying out of shit. Stuff is gulping, last breathing, suffocating, dying horribly, doing all kinds of nasty ass fucking shit. And this asshole is telling me that no scientist or critical thinker could contemplate that and say, maybe I can't justify the experiment. So there's no circumstance where a scientist faced with an experiment, okay, we're going to torture 1 million rats to respell the word frog for no good reason, but because some retarded person said, why don't you respell the word frog? So it accomplishes absolutely nothing. It does absolutely nothing. It's for no goddamn good purpose. And you're telling me a scientist faced with that experiment would just say, where's my paycheck? I'll do it. He couldn't critically think that maybe he can't justify the torture, that maybe this experiment can't pass any kind of muster. No environmental impact statement. Okay, give me your environmental impact statement. Give me your explanation for why your mall is so fucking important that you will cause all this harm, okay, to sentient beings. And so, and you're telling me that this video has accomplished that. I'm interested. I want. You suck. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that's what we're up to here. He hasn't said shit in this video. So we'll just see if the end of it says anything at all.
Like climbing Everest. It is in the same vein as...
Right. So he keeps talking about what people's individual purpose is. We're talking about the purpose of creating life, conducting an experiment, imposing. You're not talking about what you do with your own idiotic penis, asshole. You want to fuck dogs in the ass? Go the fuck ahead, retard, as long as you get their permission. Dead dogs, let's say. Roadkill dogs. You want to fuck roadkill dogs in the ass, all right, and call it your individual right? Well, go ahead, you perverted sick motherfucker. Okay, but don't tell me that's what I'm living for, and don't fucking breed me to be one of you dog fuckers.
I should like to see what kind of life forms would evolve on Mars.
Okay, I would like to see it. So I find it interesting. I would like to see. So that's what he's justifying rape. He's justifying torturing things, inevitable torture. Okay, undeniable will inevitably torture at huge numbers. He's saying, I want. That's the justification. I find it interesting. I'm curious. No, these are shit fucking silly explanations. This isn't about climbing Mount Everest, fuckhead. It's about dragging a bunch of kids up Mount Everest and freezing their little dicks off. That's what it's about, shithead.
Another idea, I mean, is perhaps after eons we may stagnate in science, and it's an interesting idea that maybe this has happened already, and maybe life was seeded on our planet as an experiment, but perhaps we stagnate in science and we just lack.
Well, whatever. Yeah, we stagnate in everything, okay? Because guess what? It's all formula, okay? We've been stagnating since Shakespeare when it comes to art or poetry or anything, okay? We're in perpetual stagnation because there's no other game in town but what can I rub my dick on, okay? There really isn't, idiot. And if you think there is, you're a fucking idiot. You know why we're heading for idiocracy? Because idiots like you are idiots. And you're driving us there with your idiocy. I'm curious. Like somebody else is supposed to even fucking appreciate that in the first place. Like I don't even want, okay, to watch somebody get tortured. I'm not fucking curious at all about watching something getting tortured. All right, then, so the fact that you're even curious sucks. And the fact that you think there's a justification for your fucking curiosity is even suckier. You're not only dog fuckers and like it, okay? Yeah, you think it's a good thing. You think dog fucking makes sense.
Creative idea to crack some certain puzzles in science. And so we have the idea to seed planets with life and see if they can crack the answer.
Yeah, right. We have the idea. So now I have the idea, so therefore I must do it because I had the idea. I have the idea of raping a woman. I might as well go do it because it's no victims, right? There's no victims. I don't have to justify any harm or suffering. So that's just a whiny bitch. Okay, there's no such thing as harm and suffering, so I can take whatever the fuck I want because I'm interested, I want. That's all you are. You're just a rapist.
See if evolution can create a being which can give us a better understanding of our reality.
Oh, yeah, that's just such a brilliant explanation, a brilliant excuse, right? You have at least, 50,000 years of human history that's somewhat recorded. Is there any evidence in there that that's what the human beings create? No, it isn't, really. Is there any evidence that you're going to create a old magnificent human? No. And if there was a fucking smart human, if some fucking smart human actually showed up, yeah, he'd say, dog fucking is stupid, retard.
And from these forthcoming beings, we could learn from them.
You can't learn shit, okay? You can't even figure out how to listen to a video and recognize the fact that the guy said life on Mars, not human life playing bridge, drinking toilet moonshine.
So that would be a kind of third reason for generating life. as again, from my perspective, totally reasonable and rational.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's totally reasonable and rational for a scientist to completely ignore the fact that the rats are suffering in the experiment. That's perfectly reasonable and rational. He's just supposed to talk about the experiment and say, there's no such thing as suffering. I don't have to account for any environmental impact. Okay, none of the thing matters but me and what I want. That's all you're saying. You're saying that's what a scientist does. A scientist is too stupid to think there's something beyond what he wants, satisfying his curiosity. There's no other ethics. You're curious what radiation does? Well, go ahead. Put some radiation in your mother's food. What's it matter? Your mother gets irradiated and dies. Who cares? It doesn't mean anything. I'm a scientist. I can't figure that out. Fuck you.
And I don't expect it to be reasonable and rational from Inmendham's position.
Yeah, right. I don't think it's reasonable from a reasonable position. Okay, from a reasonable position where one takes responsibility for what they do and they actually admit that when you spill milk, there is spilt milk on the floor. Okay, they don't pretend that's not a negative thing. They don't sit there and say, it doesn't matter.
And I'm sure he will answer this, that I'm speciesist, I'm trapped in. And it was interesting to listen to the long dialogue between himself and Anti-Bullshit Man. And in this respect,
yeah, your brain is more putrid than a dog's fucking colon.
thought Inmendham was actually quite right. I am trapped in my own psychology.
Right, so then why are you even talking on the internet? Who the fuck could give a damn about stuff you can't rationally demonstrate or rationally defend? What's the fucking point of going on here and defending your dog fucking? There's absolutely no fucking point, okay? It's not a rational thing you're defending. It's an irrational, subjective, idiotic notion of yours that you can't figure out what suffering is, and you can't figure out what causing it is, and you can't figure out that initiating it is, and you can't figure out the simple idea that I can't do an experiment that is completely purposeless and functionalist at the cost of a victim. I can't make a victim for a silly, idiotic, purposeless experiment. You can't figure that out, and I'm supposed to say something other than, fuck you, you can, you dumbass. Don't tell me you can't figure it out. Don't tell me you can't.
From a certain point of view, I understand the sentiment of this idea.
Oh, it's not a sentiment. It's a fucking premise of the argument is that there's conditions in the living psychology. And some of those conditions are obnoxious and horrid. And we as a civilization would pay billions and trillions to get rid of those horrors. If we could get rid of cancer or choking death or some other kind of thing, okay, the human race would say, yes, let's do that. If I can give them a guarantee that if they spend $6 billion they're going to get this cure, they would buy it.
And thus when Anti-Bullshit Man seemed to think he could provide an exception to Inmendham about a person who was reasonable and rational, and claim that his life was worth living. There's always going to be, no matter how well balanced or how super duper this person is, he is a human being and an animal and a product.
Right, he's not Mr. Spock. That's right. He has no respect for the truth and just cares about the ego delusions of my race is better than their race. Okay, my kind is better than their kind. And that's all it's about is subjective, idiotic notions of superiority, idiotic notions that somehow when we put Joe Bastard and, Betty Bitch on the new Eve Island they're going to go to, the new island to do the Adam and Eve thing, that somehow, yeah, people are going to see themselves in those people. Bullshit. We know if I put 2 black people on the mission to Mars, Whitey ain't gonna pay for it no more, is he? Yeah, that's right. This is just a bullshit lie of a canard of a shit fucking explanation. I'm too psychological to think about things rationally. Then don't fucking make videos. If you can't talk rationally about rationally contextualizable subjects, about whether or not you can write an environmental impact statement that makes sense for you to do your Frankenstein experiments, then don't make videos. I mean, it's not that complicated. If all you are is a psychology, then shut the fuck up. Or call your videos crap that comes out of my fucking psychology's ass. Because that's all it is. Chronicle your farts.
Looked at biology and a gene which motivates them in certain ways, and the fact that he appraises is
so you got all this all this high technology, all this magical blah 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 special future, and you're basically saying, no, we're psychologies, we can't thinkiate, so we can't do this because we can't thinkiate. Now, you can do it apparently when you can have your little green city on Mars, but you can't fucking do it when it comes to thinking about it beforehand. Oh, I get it. Yeah, you'll be able to do it once you get there, but you can't do it before you get there. So you're going to make special crystal city on Mars, even though you're completely irrational on Earth. All of a sudden, you're going to get rational when you go to Mars. All of a sudden, your agenda is going to change, and you're not going to be silly, selfish, stupid, ignorant, motherfucking cunt bastards who just talk about what's interesting and what I want, and I'm curious, and blah, blah, blah. Fuck you.
Life as having value, in the context of Inmendham's point of view, is rather meaningless.
Right. It's meaningless to consider the ethics of conducting experiments. Just conduct them. Who the fuck cares if you make a victim? If you want to make a nuclear power plant and you want to do it for $58, you don't want to buy any of this fail-safe smell-face. Fuck it. All right, just irradiate the people. Who the fuck cares? I don't have to consider that shit. That's some sort of ethical thing. I can't do ethics rationally. I can only do those subjectively. So if it's not going to irradiate my mother, it doesn't matter. If it's not going to irradiate white people, it doesn't matter. Fuck you. You shouldn't even be allowed to use the word scientist. You don't think scientists can do better than that? Fuckhead.
But this again harks back to the why must there be a meaning to life?
Because it comes at a fucking cost. That's why, you dumb shit. If you're going to rape something, if you're going to run something over, if you're going to harm something, there has to be a fire of some kind that you're rushing to. If you're going to risk something's welfare, you have to have a purpose. Fuckhead. A better purpose than I'm interested, I want.
And one of our commentators on our videos, I forget who it was, and I apologise to whoever it was, made a great point in saying that if there was a meaning to life, would we not be... it was along these lines, and he made it much better, but I'll do my best, but I'm sure it was like this.
Please, get to it.
If there was a meaning to life, then we wouldn't have free will. We would be kind of... And I know...
Oh, we wouldn't have free will. Now you just stepped into that pile of shit that fell out of the dog's ass after you fucked it, right? That's the shit you shoved out of its ass or something you just stepped in? What the fuck? We wouldn't have free will. Amazing.
Oh. Free will in the very loosest sense.
Oh, yeah, free will in the completely made up and idiotic sense. So we wouldn't have something that's an idiotic notion that doesn't exist anyway. So, well, that's a horrible environmental impact statement, isn't it? You've just told me the environmental impact statement says we will lose something that doesn't exist. Huh?
But we would be like, even more like, programmed drones
Oh yeah, having a purpose makes you a programmed drone. So that's right. So people in the cardiac ward are programmed drones, and people who are being big brothers to kids and helping them go the right way, they're programmed drones. People who adopt a little cat from the orphanage, the cat orphanage, oh, they're programmed drones because they have a purpose. Having a purpose makes you a programmed drone. No, I don't think so, fuckhead.
If our meaning to life, our purpose. I mean, what are the candidates for such a...
Yeah, exactly. There are no candidates, you jackass. That's exactly what I'm trying to demonstrate, you stupid fuck. I'm asking you, show me. Give me an example of how you're going to justify your Frankenstein experiment, shithead, when you can't use the unneeded need, when you can't just create a circular, self-defending argument, when you actually have to reach outside of bullshit and grab something real and explain what you're really going to accomplish, which can be absolutely nothing at the price of fucking victims. And yeah, I'm telling you, what's your accomplishment, shithead, except making a fucking mess and cleaning up half of it? If you're going to spill the fucking milk and clean up half of it, I'm going to say, why are you spilling the fucking milk? Because that doesn't sound like a great idea.
Would be a reasonable meaning of life for you, Gary.
Oh, God, you're such an idiot. I'm the one arguing there is none, you stupid fuck. I'm saying you can't justify torturing the rats for no reason. You have to have a reason to torture them, you stupid fuck. I'm asking you, provide the reason, fuckhead. And your reason is, I'm interested, I want. And I'm saying that's the reasoning of a rapist, you idiot.
This points towards the scientific argumentation insofar as when you pose a question, you have to give grounds upon which it can be falsified. So if parts of the
oh, you could falsify the question. Wrong. The argument is quite simple. There's an experiment, a silly, stupid, on its face, irrational experiment. I'm saying you're defending the experiment. I'm saying, what are you defending it with? It's irrational. You're just saying it exists, therefore it should exist. Life was made on Earth, therefore it should be made somewhere else because it was made here, so it must make sense somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. That's what you're saying to me. And you're saying that's scientific. I'm saying that's the most ludicrous, imbecilic, immature slop you could possibly provide as an example, or an explanation, or a justification. I find torture interesting. I want to see something get tortured. Yeah, that's an idiotic justification.
Argument is that there is no meaning to life, there's no purpose to life. You have to be able to qualify what counts as a meaningful, purposeful life, I guess.
Oh, well, yeah, again, so I'm the one, why do I have to explain why you can't buy a present for something that doesn't need anything? I'm the one arguing the universe doesn't need this experiment, therefore you can't use need as an explanation or a justification. There is no harm in us not being here, so you can't use harm or victimhood as an explanation or a justification. I'm saying it's impossible to buy the universe a present. You're the one saying, I'm going to give it the present of Mars, and I'm going to put life on Mars and give you, the universe, the gift of life on Mars. And I'm the one saying, there's no fucking possible way that can be a gift. There's no fucking possible way that could be a gift. Unless that's like I give you a dog to fuck. You know, yes, you want a dog to fuck. Normal people don't want a dog to fuck. A dead dog.
Okay, I think this turned out slightly longer than I thought it would have been, but...
Yeah, all your videos turn out slightly longer. So anyway, just bogus on every fucking level. Didn't deal with the thought experiment being about all of life, the consequences, the real world life on Earth, the condition, the human condition on Earth. This asshole thinks we're fucking going so well. I mean, 10 years in the nursing home, super, fantastic. He thinks that's progress. Fucking idiot. It's progress to have billions of people in poverty now. Instead of just millions, we have billions in poverty. That's progress.